Hello everybody and welcome to Level 5, the channel where we discuss movies, TV shows, video games and comic books. And I know we're already a whole month into 2025 and I'm only now getting into me talking about the movies I saw in 2024. I've already recorded this video and halfway edited it and realised that my mic had completely fucked up. So I apologise, and this is me re-recording the video. That's why we're now getting this video done in February. But anyway, let me dive into ranking all the movies. So every single movie in this list, you can actually see my out of cinema experience video, which is in a playlist. I shall link the playlist down below in the description, so you guys can see my initial thoughts about each movie, spoiler free, obviously. I'll try my best to refrain from major spoilers in this list. I may talk about one or two small things, but nevertheless. Also, there are two films in this list that did come out in December of 2023, but I saw them in January 2024, so I am including this in the list, those two movies in the list that I'm doing today. So let's dive in as we rank all 15 movies I saw in the cinema in 2024. And at number 15, we have Joker, Folie à Deux, or Joker 2, however you want to put it. This one is last only because it was a major gut punch to the fans of the first Joker, including myself. I love the first Joker movie. I'm usually against when they get something as popular or something I'm hugely fond of and they do completely flip the script, but this version of the Joker was rather interesting. It made Gotham and its government, its society, the main villain, and he's not a supervillain, he's not an anti-hero, he's not a hero, he's just a man. But the issue with Joker Folie à Deux is that it completely takes what is so perfect about the first Joker and decides to stab it 9 times with a blunt butter knife. It's not good. It's not a good film. I don't care. I didn't like it. It's so stupid, and it was worse. The reason why it's last is because it left a hole in me for a couple of weeks that I cannot describe. Number 14, we have Madam Web. Honestly, what is there for me to say, really? I think most people who saw Madam Web would put this down their list as well. Madam Web is a good idea on paper, it was just executed poorly. They didn't really need to focus on these 3 Spider-Women we're never gonna see again. And all these Spider-Man references and leading up to Peter Parker and things, it was just not needed. And I'm sad because whenever the actress for Madam Web is put in a film, she actually does decent. She does an okay job. There isn't a film where she's terrible, but that's the issue. Directors, writers and things, you can't always blame the actor, and that's exactly the issue of Madam Web. It's the worst Sony film in my personal opinion. And yeah, it's not good. It really isn't. It's a shame. The suits are okay. I didn't mind the Spider-Girl suits. And, of course, I'm fine with Sweeney I'm not actually going to finish that sentence. Anyway, it's the bad guy also made no sense. He's also in the comics and was nothing like his comic counterpart. I did like the idea of having a Madam Web movie, but like I said, on script, it's fine, but execution was very, very poor. At number 13, we have Kraven the Hunter. Honestly, I was really psyched about this film, and to tell you the absolute truth, I would rewatch this film. It's not terrible, it's just meh. Like, there's really good elements in this movie. The action is great. I absolutely adore the action. And honestly, when it comes to Kraven himself, he's not that bad. The actor does get a lot of flack for playing Quicksilver and, he's kick-ass and things like this. But honestly, he's not the worst part of it. It's everything else. CGI's a bit wank. The storyline's a bit higgledy-piggledy. And again, you lead up with, there's so much lead up, there's other stuff they're teasing to that we're never going to see the light of day now. So it's kind of a shame, really. Honestly, I was hoping this would have been the best Sony film. It just didn't hit. It just didn't hit at all. On our number 12 spot goes to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So Aquaman is existing. This film killed the DC extended universe. You know, it was it was the end of it all. And Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom it's good in the sense of it's a decent sequel. There are scenes I did enjoy, but when you kind of put Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom and you place it into the bubble that is the DC Extended Universe, which, by the way, the only thing that's still now canon technically is Peacemaker, you kind of sat there with a sour taste in your mouth. It's null and void now. It's pointless, which is a shame. And they did this movie, you know, even though the DCU had already been cancelled by this point. You know, we already knew that it was going to be dead, and they still went along with this film anyway. It made no sense. Our 11th spot, and from here on out, all the films are actually really good. I enjoyed every single movie from 11 to 1. And honestly, I struggle to rank these. It took me a couple of weeks to actually rank every movie. So our 11th spot goes to Wonka. Honestly, a fantastic film. I really did enjoy this one. I'm really skeptical about when things get prequels or like an additional storyline, and personally I think lately in recent years when they try to adapt movies into live action or they adapt movies again, it doesn't go well. But when they get a character or something and go, hey, we want to explain this, it does better. And there's several films that I can correlate to this fact. Cruella de Vil, Maleficent 2, we have Rogue One, and Wonka is in that too. Wonka's actually a really fun time. I really did enjoy it, and honestly, I haven't seen much of Timothy, whatever his last name is, the actor to Wonka, but honestly, I actually really enjoyed him as Wonka, and I really hope they make a second one. They need to bridge the gap, because Wonka ends with his chocolate factory, but we don't know how he gets to being the Wonka in, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I'd like another film just to bridge that gap. Number 10, we have Kung Fu Panda 4. I actually remember when I first did the video of Kung Fu Panda 4, when I first saw it in cinema, and it got so much hate. It's actually one of my most viewed videos on the channel, because I actually really enjoyed Kung Fu Panda 4. Like I said, every film from the 11th spot to the first, I just enjoyed. I like all these films. Honestly, Kung Fu Panda 4 is really good. It's a good sequel. They're progressing the storyline. Okay, yes, the Furious 5 aren't in it, but they didn't need to be. This is a movie. It's called Kung Fu Panda, not Furious 5, and honestly, if they gave us a Furious 5 movie or a spin-off TV show, I wouldn't complain. But this is now Poe's now needing to step out of what we've seen for the last 3 films and extend his horizons, you know, take the next step and find a replacement. And honestly, action's good, the villain's cool, and there's a lot of camaraderie and respect with Poe and certain characters, and I really do like it. Honestly, I think it's good. So many people didn't, but I think it's good. Number 9, we have Inside Out 2. Honestly, a fantastic sequel. I was gobsmacked about the sort of stuff they were doing in this film. The main character, main human then, Riley, literally has a panic attack. In a Disney movie, they literally have a child having a panic attack in a Disney movie. It took guts, balls, and every single fucking ounce of courage to make that happen in a Disney movie. I really did enjoy the new emotions. I really like the French. Is she French? Or she's got like a French name. I really like her. Anxiety is a class character. And yes, okay, it does kind of follow something similar to the first one, but a lot of Disney films do. Look at Toy Story. Every single movie Toy Story is them accidentally ending up some way away from Andy or the little girl, and they have to work their way back to the kid. You know, it's the same, it follows the same fruit from the first film. They get away from the main console and have to work their way back. But it's all good. I really did enjoy it. It's a fantastic sequel. I honestly really did enjoy it. Number 8, we have Mufasa, a film that I actually was the last film I saw of 2024. Actually, technically speaking, I saw it in 2025 because it was New Year's Day. But yeah, honestly, this is again what I mean when I mentioned Wonka. I didn't like the live action adaptation of The Lion King. Lion King is my favourite Disney movie of all time, and I honestly put Lion King 2 there too. I really enjoyed Mufasa because it gave us a different story. Animation isn't too bad either. I wouldn't call it live action, but realistic, sure. It's petty in some cases. I couldn't tell you one of the songs. The songs don't hit. But the storyline itself is really good. And I do like the implication of the entire movie is Rafiki telling a story to Kiara, who, as we know, is Lion King 2's main protagonist. So I like that little bridge, that little gap. Number 7, we have Moana 2. Honestly, once again, a really fantastic sequel. It progresses, and honestly, I'm quite glad that the main villain stuck around. We never really had a main villain in the first one. The evil deity thing isn't a bad guy, it's just an, negative deity that needs to be fixed. That's all it is. So the fact that we now have a villain for Moana is interesting. Obviously, having Maui and Moana on screen is just fantastic. But I also like the fact she's got a ragtag crew now. I really did enjoy a lot of the adventurous and, I wouldn't say fighting scenes, but, combat-esque scenes. And I'm not going to spoil much about the ending, but I will say that the way they left off the ending with Moana, fantastic story progression. What a fucking fantastic story progression. Leaps and bounds from the first one. Great. Absolutely blown me away. Number 6, we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm a huge fan of the Rise of the Planet Apes trilogy. I really do adore them. So when they announced the fact there's going to be a 4th one that takes place years later, I was skeptical. But honestly, it's really good. It is really good. I did honestly enjoy this film. It's really entertaining to see the progression of things. And not only that, it left me curious for more. This film left me wanting another one.
Another one. Another one.
It now makes me want a 5th film in this series. And the really cool thing is I'm actually catching up with the trilogy with my friend James, and because he's never seen them. So we've just watched the 2nd one recently. We'll be watching the 3rd one soon. And honestly, I'm really glad he's getting into it because I really like it, which now means I have someone else to go see, when the 5th one comes out. This film has a great cast. I do really like the new characters. I like the bad guy as well. He's quite sinister. But I like the fact that they've kept the essence of the Rise of the Planet Apes kind of like storytelling, the message behind it and all that stuff. But they managed to kind of give us a fresh breath of fresh air, if that makes sense. Honestly, it's a good sequel, and I would say you do have to watch the first, the original Rise of the Planet Apes trilogy to watch this one. It is technically a full-blown sequel, which I like. Number 5, we have Venom: The Last Dance. We're in the top 5 now, and honestly, I enjoyed Venom: The Last Dance. A lot of people don't. I understand why people don't, but honestly, I think it does fit in the Venom trilogy. I think it's a good sequel to Let There Be Carnage. It's better than Let There Be Carnage, easily. I really enjoyed Venom's and Eddie's relationship. I always have done. The weird and wacky things they've done with the symbiotes in this in this film is great. Yes, okay, once again, we have a Sony film building up to more bullshit that we're never gonna see. And somehow, Madam Web, Craven, and Venom managed to give us new things that aren't related to each other, and we're not gonna see any of it. And it's bollocks. I'm honestly more pissed off we're not going to see more crap from Sony just because there's things left hanging. But I did enjoy this film. There was the last, 3rd act was hectic, it's wild, but it's a fun time. You don't have to think this movie's amazing. It's not No Way Home, it's not Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's not Avengers by any means, but it's a fun time. You can put this film on and enjoy it for what it is. Number 4, we have Transformers 1. Who knew when I went to go see Transformers 1 I'd enjoy it that much? It's actually a really fun time. It's enjoyable. It's honestly quite dark for a kids' film. What is it with animators and story developers for animation movies getting massive pairs of bollocks these days? Especially with, like, Inside Out 2 and things. What's happened? Did they, gain testosterone or something? I don't know, because Transformers 1 is done really well. It has these moments of build-up, and you can see how Megatron flips, and straight on the word murder, kill, there's death in this movie. It slaps, like, the dark shit right in your face. Obviously, it is a kid's film, so it's not straight up blood, gore, and murder, but it's that dumbed down for a kid. It's really bright and colourful. I love the animation to it. It looks stunning. And it's very, very story progressive. Very, very good storytelling. And I can't wait for Transformers 2, or Transformers 1, 2. I don't know how they're going to number this. I'm really looking forward to it. And now we're in the top 3, and number 3 is gonna not ever gonna be on anyone's list, and repeat my list, but number 3 for me is Hellboy the Crooked Man. This film was a massive shock to me. A huge. This film is the only film on the list where I was taken back in such a phenomenal way. I love the Hellboy movies. I actually enjoy all 3 of them that prior this. I love Hellboy. I think Hellboy's a class character. So when they give us a movie that's low budget, and you can see it's low budget, and they make it horror-esque or thriller-esque, I'm sat there twiddling my fingers. I know the book of Hellboy and the Crooked Man. I have never read it cover to cover, but I know of it, so I knew how the storyline was gonna go, but this is done really well. And honestly, if you haven't seen this film and you like Hellboy, you're doing yourself a disservice. The fact that it's low budget actually benefits the storytelling, the setting, the action, just everything. When Hellboy pulls out his big gun that he's known to have and pulls the trigger, the sound vibrates, the screen actually vibrates, and there's power behind his shots. The Crooked Man looks like a 1980s-esque horror villain who, back in the 80s, would actually be classed as scary. Hellboy himself looks really good. I don't know who plays Hellboy in this film, but fucking spot on his acting. This movie actually made me go, whoa, okay, actually made me jump, not in a scary, oh my god, fuck moment, but whoa, okay, I'm here for this. I really hope that this movie got enough attention to get another one. It doesn't need to be a direct sequel, but give us more low-budget Hellboy movies that are somehow connected. Give us, a series of them, please, I'm begging you. And, for those who are Hellboy fans and refuse to watch this movie, I'm just going to tell you this now. Since watching this film, me and my friend James went both go to see it. We've analysed the Hellboy and the Crooked Man comic book, the comic book that this film was based off. I will tell you this. When it comes to comic panel to screen adaptation, this is almost panel to screen. Panel by panel adaptation. No Marvel movie and no DC film has done it like Hellboy the Crooked Man. If you're a Hellboy fan, you need to watch this film. End of story. And at number 2, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. This film is a godsend to any Marvel fan who was a fan of Marvel before the MCU became a thing. This is a love letter to Fox and all their properties, because obviously once upon a time Fox had X-Men, Fantastic Four, and several others, Blade and all that lot. It's a love letter to those who wanted films that could have become a film but didn't, and it's a huge love letter to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and you can really see how much those two actors love each other, how much respect they have for one another. As a huge Logan fan, my son is literally named after Wolverine. I was so taken aback by this film. This film is fucking awesome. So much good action, so funny, so many good, respectable cameos. The only reason why it's not fast is because it's confusing as fuck. It literally... It doesn't stand in the MCU. It's part of the MCU. It's literally canon to the MCU. But now we're just left with all these fucking questions. The multiverse saga wasn't good. It's not good. And this sadly falls under that trope. But it is such a good film. And seeing Hugh Jackman wear the costume with the cowl that isn't CGI, by the way... That was the scene, the moment where he pulls up the cowl, and it's not CGI, and he's all yellow, and he got Deadpool in his accurate costume. Oh, fuck yes. Yes, that was the moment, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, everyone's favourite cameo, Gambit. I was really glad to see a comic book accurate Gambit. He was really good. Now, on to our first spot is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The reason why Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the first is because it's the one movie where every single moment, it was great. There's no flaw in this movie. I love this film so much. It has my favourite actor of all time, Jim Carrey, in this film. And he's playing two characters, which is done really well. They're actually very different characters. Shadow the Hedgehog is done perfectly. They actually did his story correct. I was one of those people that was afraid. Shadow's storyline is something you can't fuck up. You can't change it. You can't, say, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing Maria, we're doing Maxwell. He's an Indian kid, yep, and he doesn't die, he just loses his legs, yeah. You can't do shit like that, you have to do Shadow's storyline note for note, and they did. And the way this film goes is progressive, and all I'm saying is, the humans didn't have much to do, and I love the Sonic films, but yay! I don't mind having human characters, but they should not be the major focus in a film like Sonic. With Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the storyline is progressive, Shadow is done beautifully, and that third act, oh my god, I was on the edge of my seat. Yes, this is a kid's film, I don't fucking care. This was a good film. It was fun time. It's one of those films you can put on and just relax. You can sit there and just enjoy your time. You can just enjoy yourself. You don't have to, you can leave all the worries of the world behind you and you can just enjoy a movie. And the two end credit cameos or teasers, beautiful. Fucking spot on. The third act of this film is the major highlight. I think the third act for all three of the top three films, I think, speak pretty highly. I can speak pretty highly of all three. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the movie that blew me away the most. Anyway, that is me ranking all 15 movies that I saw in the cinema in 2024. Again, I know Aquaman and Wonka were in 2023, but I saw them in January of 2024, so that's why I thought I'd include them. It also just bumped up the list to a decent number. Anyway, that being said, out of all the films that I've ranked here, let me know if you've seen any of them. How do you categorize these films? Let me know your thoughts on each film if you've seen them. Did you go to the cinema? How was your experience? Like I said, if you want to hear me go more into detail about each movie, non-spoiler, it's spoiler free, then go check out the At a Cinema Experience playlist. That being said, I do love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. I apologise, this video is a little late. Our reviews do continue. Our rankings do continue. Our explanations do continue. Everything's coming back now. I've had some microphone problems and it did kick my ass in a little bit. And honestly, once I kind of clicked on that this video got fucked, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going to leave it for a week. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, because of course, we talk about all things geeky. We talk about movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games here on this channel. And I love you all. Raw of passion, everybody, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye.